Awesome, awesome. So, as you guys know, we were here yesterday. We're working our way through our 6 pillars of health. So, I'm going to flash that up for a second. We got through our mindset on Monday. So, we did our nutrition yesterday. We talked about cravings. What's one takeaway that someone got from our cravings conversation yesterday? Tomas?
I was not told. I learned that a good alternative rather than just saying no to what you want entirely is to give yourself a healthier alternative so that way you can still satiate the taste you're craving
Yeah,
while
love
still
that.
being healthy.
Awesome. And we didn't talk too much about it. I think we've talked about this before, but that idea of like rebel mentality, right? Like the more strict and 100% black and white that we are, I feel like the more often we get into that rebel mentality where we're like, I'm gonna do what I want. Like I don't know where it comes from. It's that defiant nature in the back of our minds. But yeah, so that's a really good compromise. I love that. So then the next one that we're talking about today is technically fitness, but we are going to be able to relate it to a lot of different things. So, first question, as always, we'll have everybody answer. The first question is basically, when have you just not felt like doing something that you knew you probably should have done and or was good for you at the time? And you can tell me a little bit about why. So, Ray, what was the time where you just didn't feel like doing a thing that you knew was good for you?
When I'd probably say this past Monday,
Okay.
I just didn't feel like working out or at least lifting weights. And what was the second part to the question?
Why do you think that is?
Uh, I think it's because I take breaks on the weekend, so I'm like still in that mindset. Oh yeah, like I just want to like rest from like strength training. So it kind of like falls into like the next day, like on Monday usually.
Mhm.
I've noticed that pattern.
Almost like an inertia shift, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Same with me. Mondays are hard. I feel that. Eric, what about you? What's the time where you felt like you should have done something or you knew it would be good for you, but you just didn't want to?
I had I had this huge aspiration to do like a very like big cleaning haul or like in a very like setting up like a lot of projects. I've been living in our house for or we've been living in our house for like 2 years now. There's a lot of things that need to be set up and there's a lot of like cleaning up and preparation that needs to be done at the same time. And so what I realized that in my head I had this full on like 110% motivation to do it.
Okay.
What I realized what happened is when I do that, I have to experience the exact expectations for it to happen. Because if something derails, like some like unexpected variable happens, like a call or like something like a rock in the shoe type of thing, then I just stumble and I lose absolute every bit of motivation. And it's like, oh, I'm just gonna lay on the bed and I just doom scroll. And then that's my association from that point forward. And then the whole thing just crumbles. So it's like such a huge project immediately just crumbles down.
Yes. Awesome. I'm sure we've all experienced some version of that before. Yeah, definitely have been there before. Now, can you describe, and maybe you have or haven't decided what it was, why that happens? What is your theory?
There was so my theory is the 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 lack one the emotional side is that there's a lack of like the lack of grace and like space of failure. Like it's fine to experience um a different method of coming about to things because I realized like, oh, if you're more free and accepting of how how to approach something, then you're more receptive and you still get it done. So like there's different routes you can always get there. But if you pave a very certain way and it's so fixated, then if you don't have the flexibility, then it just crumbles. And so that kind of happened with me is that I had expectation that to become reality, and then my mind just kind of broke because of it. And so I emotionally and just mentally kind of like broke down in that sense. And I had to find either I had to associate with, maybe even I had good sleep, I had a good routine, but I really wanted to please myself because I want to set a high expectation for myself and to please others. And because of that, I was like, oh, it's not perfect. And I got down the dumps because of it.
Absolutely. Would you consider yourself a high achiever?
Uh yes. I would say high achiever with high achiever with high quality with low repetitions. So like when I do get those moments, I need it's like this is my make or break. I always treat them like so because I don't get them often. And then what in it's like okay, then like oh this is complete trash. I don't want to do it anymore. And it's like it's a complete depressive episode, and then it takes a whole weeks to just combat that whole dumps.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Tomas?
So recently, I've been struggling with, well, not struggling, I guess. I've been getting better at it, but this week with me being super duper busy with work and school, just piling on, not finding the time, finding the motivation to get in the weight room because I've gotten better at just going and tumbling for my cardio because I know I need cardio, but I don't want to run, and tumbling is my alternative. Plus, it keeps me like, what's it called? In check. Makes me keep my skills up, whatever it is. But then whenever I just have my days where I don't go to work, where I'm just here at home all day and I'm only doing homework, I'm like, man, I'm really tired. Not physically, just mentally drained. And I know I want to go to the gym. I want to go to the gym, but I want to rest more.
Yeah. Mentally drained. That's a really good distinction too. Yeah, definitely. All right, Nathan.
I guess what came to mind was a period from 2018 to, oh, I would say maybe until sometime in 2022, where I just was not like, there might have been brief periods of weightlifting, but almost, um, and I did some swimming, but there were long periods of like zero exercise um, at all. And so that's the what came to mind is I was just kind of got out of the mindset of even doing anything, I guess, and it uh, didn't go well, I guess.
And why do you think that it wasn't a priority for you at that point?
Well, to be honest, it started with I just didn't want to go to the gym I was going to, so it started off I was still swimming, and then unfortunately, when I did kind of go back to a different gym, things shut down soon after that for COVID, and I don't want to blame um, that for poor nutritional habits and years of not really going to the gym, but it also kind of stopped the progress I had made for another year or two, unfortunately.
Okay, awesome. So I'm hearing momentum a little bit from you as well. Ray, you talked about kind of the inertia piece. And Tomas, you talked about the motivation and being mentally drained, right? And then Eric, you talked about almost expectations and being like having that perfect idea in your head. So these are all definitely pieces that kind of hold us back in the moment, right? So what I want to think about a little bit more, and this is what we'll go into next. And D, if you are here, let me know. But yeah, what I want to go into next is kind of the idea about being able to read these as signals, right, from our body, not necessarily an issue or a problem, but being able to decipher like why your body is saying these things or why your mind is saying these things and what we need to do about them. So let's talk a little bit more about each of these. So we did talk about a little bit of mental fatigue. Is it ever physical for you guys? Let's talk mostly exercise. Is it ever physical? Like, are you physically tired, or is it usually just mental? Okay, mostly mental. Okay, cool. So why do we think that that happens? Open forum. Whoever wants to talk.
Maybe
Well,
because, oh, go ahead, Nathan.
I was just gonna say, well, for me, I'm almost never physically tired unless I deliberately do a workout because I'm mostly sitting all day for my job.
Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it can be from like everything that we're doing throughout the day, like being on our phones, reading a book, just all those mental exercises that we practice throughout the day can drain us, mentally drain us.
Okay. Yeah. Let's think about it a little differently too. What kind of feelings do you have when you're in that state of being mentally drained? Like for me, I think one of them is like anxiety almost. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it done. And it's like, okay, physically, I definitely have the time, right? It's not like I couldn't fit it in. I probably, like Eric was saying, doom scrolled for like 20 or 30 minutes. Like I have the time, I could absolutely do it, right? But I have that anxiety of just being like so busy or feeling like I have a lot coming up, right? So what are some other feelings that we feel might come into that mental capacity piece? Yeah, Thomas?
One thing that I experience is this year specifically, because I've switched around my time management and scheduling, doing everything is mentally draining because, like you said, I know in the time of day I have enough time to get these things done, but then as soon as I'm done with class, I just march right back to the computer and I keep doing it. So ultimately, 9 to 5 with school. Nothing I haven't done before, but 9 to 5s, whether it's school, whether it's a normal job, it does get tiresome because you're mentally using those muscles on and on and on without giving yourselves little breaks.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I've heard a lot of the people say that too. I know this sounds bad, but like especially if they hate their job, right? Like that they are putting out more energy to be at a place that they don't even want to be at. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I definitely can see that. Absolutely. Anyone else? What feelings do you have when you have that mental load that feels like, and Eric, you can totally type too if that's any easier since you're in the waiting room. I think overwhelm might be another good word, kind of what you were talking about, Tomas, right? Just having so much on your plate. Again, just that mental stimulation of knowing that you have a lot on your plate. Yeah, absolutely. Procrastination. That's a big one for a lot of people. Oh, are you guilty? Yes. Okay, definitely. All right, so I think next thing that we'll run into is kind of thinking about how we're going to shift our thinking. So we all know that exercise is important, right? That's our main topic today. So anxiety to prioritization of internal versus external goals. I love that, absolutely. Because realistically speaking, sometimes we have competing priorities, right? Like, yes, I know I need to work out, but I also want to spend time with my family. I know that I should probably eat vegetables, but I'm going out with my friends, right? And so we have sometimes these internal and external competing goals that feel like they both need to be satisfied. And because of that, I think sometimes we become indecisive, right? We don't want to make the choice, and so then we just do nothing. We have a perfect plan and it doesn't go according to plan, so we just do nothing, right? And that's like our default is like avoidance almost. You guys kind of know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, awesome. So again, going into that transition piece. So we all know that exercise is good for us, right? So let's talk really quickly about some of the long-term benefits of exercise. Again, popcorn style, just pop a couple things in. Long-term, why is it good to stay active?
Of why it's good to stay active,
Yes.
just overall better for your heart health.
Okay, absolutely. Heart health.
I have this one,
Yeah.
and I have this one,
Yes. Go check it out.
and if I'm not healthy, then I can't satisfy them.
Love that.
So simple for me. It's very external.
And that's like external and internal almost, right?
Scary.
Yeah.
That's
Nathan,
as much as
what's a long-term benefit of exercise?
Well, I guess one of my goals is if I'm lucky or unlucky enough to live to 80, 90 years old, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do physically, as far as at least, doing basic things and maybe some fun activities or tasks that I don't know. That's one thing I think about.
Totally. So both from a longevity standpoint, being able to make it to that age, and then also a capability standpoint, being able to do things when you're
Yeah,
that
that
age.
too. I guess some things probably can be done to help you make it to that age in general.
Absolutely. So Matt?
One thing that I really think about in terms of staying healthy per longevity and for the future is for my mental, it keeps me feeling younger than I actually am.
Mm,
Because, like, I
absolutely.
know a bunch of people say 24 is old, 24 and old is up. Yeah. All my kids tell me I'm an ancient fossil. But I'm like, yo, I'm literally showing you all the tumbling skills you're doing. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, it helps me in that mindset.
Cool. I love that. And energy, right? Mood, all that stuff, but also being able to like long term fight off things like dementia and Alzheimer's, right? That's all definitely included in there too. And disease in general, right? We all know that that's a huge piece of this. And so these are all huge, huge benefits long term. Now, I did make you do that first because what's the problem with looking long term? I love it. It's great. We know that there are benefits there. What does it not do for you? Tomas, what was the thing that you said you felt like you were missing?
Felt like I was missing.
Mhm. Like what made you not want to work out while you had school and stuff like that,
Oh, motivation.
right? Long-term
Yeah.
health, 60 years down the road, I want to be able to row a canoe. Like that is way too fucking long out there. That doesn't mean anything to me now. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where we as human beings are not that great at looking that far ahead. It's just like this abstract vision and like we can't really see it clearly. Like you kind of almost feel like you're going to be this age forever and then you somehow keep getting older and then you keep thinking that no matter how old you are, right? Like like we know, right? We logically know, but we can't like feel it, right? We can't have it be like a huge driver for us because it's so far out, because it's so distant. Do you kind of know what I mean? So it's not that motivation for us right now for the most part. For some people, it is because they've gotten into really good habits. And that's kind of why we want to make sure that we establish those because, okay, this is who I am and this is what I do. But if you're just thinking like, I want to have a beach bod when I'm 80, like good luck keeping up with all of your habits, right? It's just a little too far out. So what we can do instead is shift our perspective to think a little bit more about the here and now, because we also know that there are benefits short term for exercise or eating healthy, staying healthy, etc. Right? So let's talk really quickly about what are some positive things that can happen short term that you can feel immediately by being active. And we're moving through it pretty quick, so I'm gonna just call on everybody. Right. Short-term benefit.
Um, short short term benefits. Um, like for example, if somebody's goal is to lose weight,
Okay.
uh, they can lose weight by exercising, by working out.
Yeah. And realistically speaking, it might take a couple of weeks, a few months,
Hmm.
depending on how long they need to fix whatever they've got going on, right? So
Yeah.
yes, definitely shorter term, still kind of in that mid-range, maybe.
Mhm.
What about today? Nathan, what are you going to feel today working out?
I guess the things that came to mind is maybe loosening up, like stiff back or shoulders, or maybe exercises to loosen up or correct like imbalances from daily work or jobs. And sleep. That was the thing I thought of. Might help sleep better.
Nice. Absolutely love that. Yeah. Sometimes sitting on a desk for a while, right? I know that you work a desk job and stuff like that too. You just get stiff and everything hurts and
Yeah.
like, yeah, totally. Tomas?
It makes me feel like I accomplished something that day.
There we go. Psychological benefits. I love that. Anything else branching off of that? You're good. I'll throw a couple more out for you. Eric, go ahead. What are some short-term benefits?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, short-term benefits to exercise. What's something that you'll feel today?
My particular case is more for like respiratory and like gut health
Okay.
in my particular case.
Yeah.
So I know I have a particularly also like a knee injury. And so if I don't actually keep like a little bit like a weight bearing exercises, then like my joints actually do hurt quite a bit after a little bit. So it's more like maintenance of being able to move.
Yeah, absolutely. That mobility piece, keeping down inflammation, right? And so, Tomas, a couple of the other things that I was thinking about from a psychological perspective. So you said like being able to feel like you accomplished something. I feel like that really helps establish momentum, right? You're like, ah, I did the thing. Now I can go do another thing, right? Like feeling good. You know what I mean? Energy is better, mood is better. We already know that it provides a ton of awesome hormones. So you've got like serotonin, dopamine, um, what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Endorphins, right? Like those are all things that are just going to be swimming in your body. And something else that's cool is that actually helps with like your gut motility, right? It helps with your blood sugar regulation. And so it's so much more than even you're going to be able to like physically feel at the time, but it's also a short-term benefit from immediately one workout, right? One single thing. So that's kind of the idea is taking this long-term vision and this long-term goal, great, know what it is, know what your visions are, know what your goals are. That's a really great, like, top down view. But if that's all you look at, it's so distant, it's so far away that it just doesn't feel as tangible. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So we're going to finish off with the last piece. We're going to talk plan A, plan B. Like ideal, this is what I'd like to do. If I can't do that, here's my plan B instead. Maybe I'm not feeling well. Maybe life is chaotic today. Maybe I failed my test and my head's just not in it, right? So we understand that sometimes, again, these are signals, right? Sometimes our body is like, okay, this is not happening today. Do we make that exception? Do we decide to do something else? Do we modify the intensity? Do we skip that day and move it to tomorrow, right? So we're just going to do one example each. Ray, what is something that you feel, and we can branch out of the workouts a little bit. Ray, what is something that you feel like, okay, optimally, I'd like to do this. If I can't do that because life is handing, dealing whatever hand it wants to, here's my secondary action.
Okay. So opting out of like work, that's something I'd like to do is write a lot more.
Okay.
Um, and if I can't get to do that, then I can just maybe write like a journal prompt, like a short paragraph or something, a couple sentences, instead of writing like a full on like page or something.
Yeah, because ideally, right, you're over here writing a novel or whatever, right? But better
Mhm.
than nothing, we talk about that principle a lot. The better than nothing principle is, okay, I at least wrote a prompt or I wrote that paragraph. And now I feel better about the fact that I still did the thing that I intended to do, showed myself that I was capable, built that momentum, even though it wasn't what I wanted it to be exactly, right? Really good example.
Mhm.
Erica, I'm going to have you go next if you can, because that reminded me of your cleaning the house story. So if you can, let's go with what your big plan was, and then what could be that plan B?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so we're talking about kind of like ideal situation long term, and you had talked about your house plan. And then what's kind of like a plan B, like if things don't go according to plan, if there is that gap in expectation, what's something that you can do right now to still be able to get that momentum and have that short-term benefit?
Um, First thing I can see the momentum, which is I just doing bit by bit.
Okay,
I take small wins over big wins, and then sub tasks are better than big task, and I just
absolutely.
snowball effect it. And then that just always has worked out the best afterwards.
That's great. And that's something that we can apply to anything, right? Taking that small tasks, taking that small win, and snowball is a great analogy of that momentum. Absolutely. Thanks. All right, so Mas, what you got?
So on days that I don't feel like going to the gym or don't feel like I can make it, I instead try to do calisthenics. I'll try to go outside, maybe do a tuck or back handspring or something. But a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, squats, handstands. I'm trying to get to the point where I can do an overhead press, but we'll see. I'm at one right now. So
All
stay
right.
tuned.
Nice, nice. And that's cool too, because it's something that's still getting you into your goals. It excites you. It's still fun, right? You're still getting that momentum piece. And again, it's better than nothing. And then we have some good days and some not as good days, but at least we're still moving, right? Absolutely. All right, Nathan, what you got?
Yeah, I would just second that, all that, just bit, the little bits at you can't when you can. I think even 10 minutes is better than zero.
Okay. And what would you be your example? Are you talking about working out specifically?
Yeah, I guess so. Uh, or I guess it could be like meal prep, getting something ready for the next day.
Nice. I like that. Okay, so if you can just identify what would be your ideal for a meal prep, and then what's that plan B?
Um, well, ideal would be Saturday or Sunday. I make like 10 meals for the week, and I it's all lined up, and I just pull them out Monday through Friday or Thursday or Friday. Plan B is, I don't know, having some tuna or something available, maybe some yogurt uh, ready to go.
Yeah, something that's still like grab and go type of thing, even if you're not preparing it as much in advance, right? And you bring up
Yeah.
a really good point. We talked about the overwhelm aspect earlier. If we create this like beautiful plan that's all laid out and it's exactly how we want it to be and like so ideal and it would be great. Like Eric said, as soon as it doesn't happen that way, we procrastinate, we get overwhelmed. It's that gap in expectations, right? So it's being able to like roll with the punches and be resilient and just do like get closer toward your goal however you need to do that, as long as we're moving that direction, right? And then honoring that sometimes we need a break, or sometimes we need to take a day off, or whatever the case is, right? So being able to kind of interpret those signals a little bit differently. Cool. Any other questions or takeaways before we head out? No? Okay, awesome. I appreciate all of you being here. So tomorrow we are going to talk about optimizing your recovery and talking about sleep a little bit. And Ray, I know you guys have met him at this point, is actually going to be doing the workshop. So I'm super excited for him to be hosting. So yes, if you can come tomorrow, that would be awesome. Same time, same place, and hopefully I'll see y'all there. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
See you
Thank
guys.
you.